Just a quick one here, Dan. With Brandon Powell only just starting the warm-up lap, the guys who've got round and completed the warm-up lap quickly will now have some very hot engines and unhappy machinery to contend with when they go for the start of this race. And if Max Cook wasn't happy before, I don't think he's going to be very happy this time. So tempers will fray.
Let's wait and see what happens. We've still got a couple of riders coming through the last couple of corners, getting back into position. And at the front row of the grid is one rider's actually coming off the circuit and going back to the paddock. I can't quite see what number that is, but someone...
None of the front two rows. My initial thoughts may have been Josh Watley, but it's not the right leather colours for him. So
there's a one to the start of that, so we'll try and give you some more information on that as to when we get it. We've still got someone coming around the final couple of corners.
Max Cook's not happy again. I did say that Max Cook won't be happy because they're all being made to wait, and you know this extends starting times and starting procedures. Tensions are rising, tempers are fraying. They're ready to go though.
Red light about to come on now. Red light is on. We get underway, and a few people struggle away from the line. Jay King, an absolutely brilliant start up into second place. From what, sixth place so far. A great start from Jamie King going into the chicane for the first time. Everyone does make it around at least the first chicane cleanly. Throughout the rest of that, though, it's all hell for leather, really.
Josh Watley got a terrible start. He launched, the front end just picked up, obviously just absolutely launched the bike off the line, could not get the front wheel down and lost about 4 or 5 positions. But like you say, Dan, at the time, Jay King got an absolute flyer. Let's hope they've all kept it clean for the remainder of the lap. We await them to come down towards St John's, and in the lead, unsurprisingly, is Charlie Nesbitt ahead of Max Cook. Then in third, Josh Watley's recovered, Harvey Claridge and Jay King now fifth. Simon Clowes on the inside of Sam Clowes. So the family there having a bit of an affair. And up the inside again, another rider trying to make his way through. Can't see who that is. We'll get a name check for you. They come across the line. But that was the Blake Ansell machine, the 26 trying to get through that time on Sam Clowes, couldn't make it work, but everyone's safely through, and in the lead, Charlie Nesbitt.
And we've got a rider who's pulled off on the right-hand side just by the start line. That's the number 65. That's Mark Pollitt, who's stopped next to the marshal's box on the start-finish line. So I think they're debating whether they give it a yellow flag purely because it's behind the marshal's hut. But if the field stream their way through the middle portion of this circuit and up towards the final couple of corners, Charlie Nesbitt still ahead of Max Cook, but Max Cook is not letting him disappear without much chance. Through the final corner they go, 86 versus 30 over the line on lap 2 now out of 12 towards turn number 1. All chaos.
Sam Clowes, I think, has had a little off. Can't see him as they come through. I hope I'm wrong. Blake Ansell comes across the line. There's Simon Clowes. I don't think Sam Clowes is there. Darren Anderson is. Everyone else is there, but Sam Clowes has obviously had an issue of some description. Someone else down at the back of the field. We don't know who that is. Rider up and okay. But yeah, a bit of a problem then for Sam Clowes. He was right in the mix in the midfield, and he's gone down or retired or something's happened to him because he's not in the leading group. Last time around, it was Max Cook who set the fastest lap of the race, and he's all over Charlie Nesbitt. They come into Sunny Bend turn 9. No move to be made there. Max Cook gets a good run out of that turn 9. Can't make the move though. Charlie Nesbitt leads. Josh Watley struggling to stay with them at the moment. They come down the straight then. Charlie Nesbitt, Max Cook, Josh Watley, Harvey Claridge, as quick as that.
Well, that's your top 4 so far, with Jamie King in 5th at the moment. Will Howarth just coming over for 7th. We've got someone rejoining at the moment. That is the number 27. The number 27. We're trying to look down our timing screens and identify that at the moment. Well, it's still Will Howarth in 6th ahead of Darren Anderson and Blake Ansell. So Will Howarth back up into the lead in the Moto Team category, ahead of Darren Anderson in 7th. Blake Ansell in 8th ahead of Simon Clowes and Scott Dootson, with Ian Jackson, Brandon Perrill, Jason Pugh, Fraser Kinnaird, Felix Hearn and Howard Taylor, the top 16. That doesn't even get you halfway through this entry so far.
Traffic just hindering Max Cook's challenge at Charlie Nesbitt at turn 9 there. It's still that order. Charlie Nesbitt leads Max Cook into the chicane. Max Cook really aggressive through there. Has to be to get the bike from one side to another. J King having a lonely ride in 5th. Will Howarth is 6th. 7th is Darren Anderson. He comes through to number 56. Then Blake Ansell marching his way through. Simon Clowes ahead of Scott Dutton. Then it's Ian Jackson. Then it's Brandon Farrell despite his warm-up lap shenanigans. He's there in 12th place. What a field of talent we've got going through, reading some of them names. My goodness, have we had success across this class.
Well, at this point in the race, Gary O'Keefe had gone down out of sight of the live commentary team. The red flags came out. Gary would recover but wouldn't take part in the restart. There were still 8 laps to go.
And there's just a few stragglers head back to the grid after the second warm-up lap. And everyone just getting very impatiently waiting on the grid. Brandon Perrell just circling around a few of the other riders just to make sure the engine's actually running this time. Unfortunately, at the start of the last race, the last portion of this race, in fact, had a bit of a tricky start. Couldn't quite get away. I think he stalled again, actually. So
no, it's a grid position argument, I think. Brandon Perrell and Simon Clowes. And there's another rider being asked to be moving back. Brandon Perrell's saying that I go there, what are you doing?
I think,
I mean, we could sort this out here then if we wanted to.
Well, I think they're debating whether they had it was the original grid positions or if it was the positions.
Brandon Perrell is starting 16th, or that's where he says.
But positions after the red flag came out or a lap before, and the count back would have him a lot higher, which is where he is now. I think.
So yeah, Simon Clowes has gone to his original place. That's why he's been moved back.
Okay, so we are about to get underway for the second time of asking. The Pitbike 140 and Moto teams get underway. Brandon Perrell has stalled again, but Charlie Nesbitt launches into the lead, going through turn 1 for the first time once again. But Brandon Perrell absolutely furious with himself after the bike wouldn't start after all of that. Has to do a lot more hard work again, but does get underway. We're all cleanly through the first chicane on this restart. But so far, Charlie Nesbitt just did what he did in the first race. In fact, got an even better start and had a good length or two into the first couple of corners.
Brandon Perrell's having an eventful afternoon, it's got to be said, and that is an understatement, really. He's wrong grid slots and machine problems, stalling on the grid. What's next for him? Oh, and Nesbitt has got just ahead of Max Cook. They were side by side down into turn 8 there, almost touching.
Someone's gone down at the St John's as well on the left-hand side. They're up.
I think Simon Clowes looks like.
And someone's gone in the exit as well. That's the 56, which has gone down. They're up and trying to restart the bike.
56 is down in. Anderson, so the two of the leading Moto 2 team riders, Moto team riders have gone down. That is a blow indeed. Simon Clowes has restarted. Well, I tell you, Simon Clowes and Brandon Perrell, I don't know if he nudged off. I don't know. He looked like he was remonstrating to someone after. Someone else has gone down on exit. He's not Brandon Perrell again, surely?
No, it isn't, I don't think.
I don't think it is. It's got yellow on it anyway. We don't know who. But we will find out for you. Simon Clowes comes across the line. So an eventful first lap. And everyone just about making it through, I think.
So far, as there's yellow flags really for the final third of the lap, it's still Charlie Nesbitt ahead of Max Cook. Max though definitely wants to try and get back up into the lead of the race, or back towards the lead of the race, almost side by side on the exit through towards turn number 1. And now, well, line astern, 1 bike length separates the two of them. Then Joshua Watley and Harvey Claridge fighting tooth and nail for third. That's also a bike length as they come through. Everyone else streaming their way now over the line on the second lap out of 8 for the restart. But Jamie King in 5th, ahead of Will Howarth and Blake Ansell, with Scott Dutson in 8th. 9th is Bernie Hook, and 10th is Ian Jackson, just ahead of Fraser Kinnaird and Jason Pugh.
I hate to say it, I think it was Brandon Perrell who's gone down at the last corner. I don't know if he tangled with anyone, but he's definitely been down. Yellow flags in then around this course. Brandon Perrell's got an even harder task to do anyway now. He's another lap down. He's on his way. Nesbitt leads though. Max Cook second. as they go into the first chicane. Max Cook and Charlie Nesbitt in a class of their own, really. Josh Watley's got Harvey Claridge for company, and then Jay King on his own again in 5th. Will Howard 6th, Blake Ansell 7th, and in 8th place is Scott Dootson, Bernie Hook 9th, and 10th is Ian Jackson. But it is a battle for 1st and 2nd, and a battle for 3rd and 4th. Fastest lap of the race as well to Max Cook, 52.9.
Max Cook getting very close at the moment as well. Over the line, they were 0.227 over the line. And Max Cook certainly having a good run at it so far. Charlie Nesbitt remains in the lead though, heading towards the final couple of corners into St John's, and it's still just Charlie Nesbitt who's holding on absolute fringes, using every part of the circuit to try and find any grip, anything at all to keep him ahead of Max Cook. And Max looking as far ahead as possible. He's desperate to try and make any kind of position, any kind of signifying move, just saying, look, I'm so close to you, I'm just going to make the move, just be prepared, I'm going to pass you. Joshua Watley still 3rd ahead of Fraser Kinnaird. Well, Fraser Kinnaird down in 11th at the moment, but it's still Nesbitt, Cook, Watley, your top 3.
For now. I mean, I think the top 2 is going to change. Charlie Nesbitt and Max Cook absolutely tied together every single time they come round. We'll see what they're like this time around. Simon Clowes is still trying to make up ground downfield after his off-track excursion earlier on, and it looks like there's been a mistake from Max Cook because he has lost a bit of time to Spud Nesbitt. Nesbitt using all the track to his advantage, and around the back of the track somewhere between turns 4 and 9 he has gone and broke clear of Max Cook. They both make their way through the traffic successfully as well.
So a new fastest lap from Charlie Nesbitt, half a second now the gap between himself and Max Cook. Joshua Watley getting very feisty now for 3rd place as well. Fantastic battling going on there at the moment. A few people just streaming through the latter stages of this lap side by side. Everywhere we seem to try and find any kind of battling, and there is some great battling going on for sort of 11th and 12th, Jason Pugh and Fraser Kinnaird. They're only half a second over the line. Then the battle between Neil Kinnaird and Felix Hearn was only 0.136 coming over the line. That's a Moto Team rider fighting with a Pitbike 140 machine, which around Rowrah is quite an interesting battle really for them.
It is indeed. I mean, you don't see it often that Moto Team riders and PB 140 riders have got a group and they're in their own and they're mixed up together, but for some reason Rowrah's providing great action again. I've got to say, Max Cook, I don't know if he's got a problem, but he was 1.6 seconds down last time around. That to me may well suggest, and his lap time was off as well, may suggest a bit of a bike problem. I'm not sure, I don't want to speculate, but that seems to be what it is at the moment. Sam Clowes trying to get past Kevin Gritton. That is for 15th place, and he's done it. So Kevin Gritton goes back a place. Sam Clowes goes up a place. Next up for Clowes is Felix Hearn. So the Clowes family are having a bit of a difficult day, and Simon Clowes getting in the way there. I think that was of Charlie Nesbitt. Yes, it was. Last lap then. Charlie Nesbitt looking like he's already celebrating.
Well, it's going to get very close. Onto the final lap they go though, and Charlie Nesbitt just keeping ahead. Well, I say just, it's 2.4 seconds. So as Kiko alluded to, the pace simply not quite there for Max Cook now at this latter stages of the race. Josh Watley still in 3rd place. Wait to see who comes over in 4th place, but Jason Pugh still enjoying 11th place for the time being. 3 wide coming over the line, in fact, with the number 7, 10 and 99.
Ian Jackson was one of them.
Also very close between 83 and 27, so Neil Kinnaird and Fraser or Felix Hearn. Fantastic stuff as they just had to fight to try and get the position. Still staying ahead though was Neil at the moment in 13th position. But as they come up towards the line, Charlie Nesbitt pulls a wheelie, takes the victory ahead of Max Cook, who will be slightly frustrated maybe that he couldn't quite challenge in the later stages of this race. But Joshua Watley stays in 3rd place, a great result for the top 3. And Josh had a decent race in that one as well. Brandon Perrell does come over the line now after missing a bit of his front fairing as well. He's definitely not had a race to remember.
It's a difficult one for Brandon Hill. He's got 2 opportunities tomorrow though to come back, and I'm sure he will. He was almost on the podium here last year, if I remember correctly. But Nesbitt, Cook, Watley, Pugh, Kinnaird, Hearn, all behind them. I've got to say, that was an interesting race, but Max Cook did pull off at turn 1. I think that was a machine fault on his bike.